Well, I'm Executive Director of the Chesapeake Climate Action Network. And before we do anything else, just feel it for a second. Feel the sun. Do you feel the sun? Yeah. The wind just knocked down this sign right here. The wind, we can feel it. We can hear it in the trees. We can feel the sun. This state is overwhelmingly blessed with clean, renewable energy. Am I right?
Yes!
So we're here today to talk about that. And there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to be as quick as I can to first say thank you to everybody for coming. We really appreciate it. We've had people picketing outside Dominion's office every day this week. Never happened before. Many of you have been here earlier in the week. All of you are here today. So first of all, give yourselves a big round of applause for coming to talk about this sun and this wind and what this company needs to do. And I also want to thank all the groups who've put this rally together, put this picket together this week against Dominion and in favor of our sun. And that would be CCAN, Alliance for Progressive Values, Chesapeake, that's us, I already said them, Physicians for Social Responsibility, Sierra Club Virginia chapter, thank you so much, and Virginia Alliance for a Cleaner Environment. I also want to thank all the CCAN staff members who've worked so hard. Raise your hand. Keith T, DeJuan, Hannah, Beth Kemmler, who couldn't be here today. Want to thank all of them, Kirsten Collins, for all the work they've done. Okay, so here's the thing. You guys remember when you were in school, you're on the playground, and there's that bully who shows up every day, knocks somebody down, takes their money, right? It wasn't money intended for the bully. Reached down, took it. Took the money every day. Totally unfair, day after day after day. This company knocks down Virginia ratepayers every day and takes money out of their pocket. They do it every day, and they do it claiming that they're doing it in the name of what we're feeling right now on this beautiful sunny day, and that's for solar power. That's what they claim. They claim they're taking our money for wind power, but in reality they are not. They are using that money to rip off the ratepayers. In 2007 there was a law that passed in Virginia that set a voluntary clean energy standard. It told utilities in this state that if you promote clean renewable energy, the ratepayers will give you a bonus. All right, the lawmakers right down the street who passed that law in 2007 in Virginia, what did they intend at the time? They had in mind sun, solar energy, and wind. They had in mind clean renewable energy. But because of loopholes that Dominion wrote into that law, our renewable energy law, Dominion has now allowed themselves to claim they're creating clean energy when all they're doing is buying hydropower in the state and out of state. Hydropower that goes back as far, some dams as far back as the 1930s. They're buying wood combustion and garbage combustion from plants that go back to the 70s and 80s. This is old, pre-existing, and not entirely clean energy, but they're claiming that it's solar and wind. They run full-page ads in newspapers showing wind farms and saying, we're bringing wind to Virginia. And the reality is, anybody know how many wind farms has Dominion brought to Virginia today? Does anybody know that answer? Zero. There are only 9 states left in America that don't have a utility scale wind farm, and we are one of them. And meanwhile, the bully comes on the playground every day and takes $76 million. We're here today to say no to Dominion, that we want wind and solar. We don't want them to get a bonus for nothing. And I want you guys just to take a minute to let Tom Farrell of Dominion Power hear it, that, and I'm going to say a chant. When I say no renewables, you say no bonus, okay? I'm going to say no renewables, you say no bonus. Let's say it really loud. You ready? No renewables?
No bonus!
No renewables?
No bonus!
No renewables?
No bonus!
Okay, so how do we get to renewables? Well, we start by doing what we've done today. We turn out this week, every day, like I said, good people, lawyers, doctors, teachers, students, farmers from all over the state have been picketing here at Dominion saying no renewables, no bonus. We've gotten tons of media attention because of your great work. Associated Press, the Virginian Pilot, the Richmond Times-Dispatch, TV, because you guys have turned out. If you guys don't turn out to picket, our voices don't matter. You've turned out, and now we've raised raise the attention, this ripoff that Dominion is perpetrating on the people of Virginia. But what has Dominion told the media in response to us saying you're ripping us off? What have they said in response? They've said, basically, they're right. They haven't challenged our math. They haven't challenged our numbers. They've confirmed that their plan at Dominion, with all this sun and all this wind that we have in Virginia, Dominion's plan over the next 15 years is to increase renewable energy in this state by 0.4%. That's their plan. They don't hide it. It is a ripoff. And meanwhile, they take our $76 million like a bully on a playground. And meanwhile, what happens to the actual children on the actual playgrounds and the actual schools in our state? As a result of Dominion's energy policy of more fossil fuels, more coal, more natural gas, no wind, no solar, our actual kids on the playgrounds get asthma. Richmond, the 2 of the last 3 years, has been the asthma capital of America. The highest asthma rate in the state, linked directly to particulate matter and other pollutants from fossil fuels. We're actually paying extra to have our kids get asthma from this playground bully, and so we have to stop it. And so we want to thank you again for coming. We have some great speakers who are going to come up here and tease out this ripoff point by point. But the reality is, we have two visions. We have two visions for this state. The vision that you and I have, and just standing here right now, hearing the wind in the trees and feeling the sun on our skin, we know this vision is achievable. We know we can fight climate change and have cleaner air for our kids on playgrounds. That's our vision. Their vision is business as usual. And we're here to say stop it. You can't have a good rally without more chants. So let's do 2 quick ones right here before I introduce our next speaker. Tom Farrell, CEO. How about this one? Hey, Tom, what do you say? We need wind and solar today. Hey, Tom, what do you say? We need wind and solar today. Hey, Tom, what do you say? We need wind and solar today. Hey, Tom, what do you say? We need wind and solar today. Give yourselves a hand. Okay, so our first speaker is a wonderful activist. You know, organizers, we're like baseball fans. We have our favorites. We know some of the organizers that are just better than the other ones, who work extra hard and are real superstars. And one of them is Philip Ellis with the Sierra Club. He's a field organizer with Sierra Club, and he's an outstanding organizer and an outspoken critic of Dominion on this issue. Philip Ellis.
Thanks to all the organizations that put this on, and certainly appreciate all of you guys coming out here and spending this beautiful Saturday to yell at Dominion with us. As you said, my name is Philip. I'm an organizer for the Sierra Club, and I moved up to this area, DC area, about 3 years ago with my wife and 2 daughters to make a bigger difference in environmental and global warming, climate change, and protect the health of our families for an event just like today. And I always love to start with these events by telling you about my first experience with coal and working in activism in Virginia. And Glenn, I was hired with the Virginia chapter, and I know Glenn's heard the story many times, but I'm going to tell it again, Glenn. It was one of those days, literally my second day on the job. I just moved up here from Florida to work on climate change, and Glenn had said to me, "Great, glad to have you on board. Hey, by the way, we've got this van of activists that are going down to Wise County for this Corps of Engineering hearing. Do you mind going along with the organizer, drive the van, and just hanging out with those guys?" And it sounded very benign enough. It sounded easy enough. I was just happy to do anything. And I said, great. So I got to meet, it was that morning, got in the van, long drive down to Wise County, got a great opportunity to meet with our fellow volunteers, a lot of whom I've worked with today. My fellow organizer, Kate Allison, who's not here, and we were talking, and I don't really remember when it happened, but I just started getting a little better feel for what Glenn had in mind for me at this Corps of Engineer hearing over there. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was a few years ago. The Corps of Engineers was hosting national hearings, really affecting the coal industry, and they had 5 of them. This was the 3rd. And we had started talking about it, and the kicker was, I remember the kicker was, they had just held one the night before in Kentucky, and Kate leaned over with a YouTube video and said, "Oh, you need to check this out." And so I look at this, and the number gets bigger every time I tell them. There were hundreds of coal miners out in front of this building, literally blocking the activists coming in, yelling, screaming. It was really contentious. And you got to remember, I'm from Florida. We don't have industry in Florida. We have tourists. I get to wear my flip-flops. We don't have anything like this. So it was really one of those times where I was thinking, what in the hell did I get myself into with this type of thing? So we kept going, and it was a long drive, and we kept talking about it. And by the time we got there, by the time we got to Wise County, I mean, there was a buzz that was happening in that car. I mean, it was really an excitement. There was really an anticipation of what happened. And we get there, and I don't know if you've ever been to one of these things, but this is the only day that the coal industry will let the coal workers off. They had them in their nice black shirts, basically saying, you know, environmentalists suck, pro-coal, whatever it wants to be. And so, again, the number gets bigger, but we get out there, and there's a ton of them out there. There's about 15 of us that came down in this van, and I get pulled in, and they said, Philip, we need you to come in here. We want to train you to be a peacekeeper. What? A peacekeeper? What have I got myself? He's like, and they gave me some 20-minute training, but here's the gist of it. They said, we want you to stay between them and us. I was like, okay, they gave me a little bandana, put me out there, said, kick me out there to go. And I just remember it because it was, although they were very friendly in line, we got in there, that auditorium, there was 500-700 people. Again, the story gets bigger each time. And it was as contentious as you get. I mean, these people were fighting for their lives, really pissed off at us. And of course, the way that they let this thing happen is they let the politicians get up there first. So they say, all the local politicians, they'll say everything they want to about how bad the environment is, how bad we stink, they should get back. And they're working them into a frenzy, much like we're trying to do to you guys today. And I was sitting there, and everybody's staring you down, and everybody's yelling at every word. It's really, really intimidating. And I just remember sitting in that audience going, oh my God, please do not let me be the first person to speak at this thing, please. And it was a Virginia Tech student that had to get up, and I still don't know how that guy got up there today. I mean, I was really impressed and taken away. But the punchline to this story is that they were all there. They were contentious. They were telling their story. We had this little 25, 30 people. We'd come down there to help the people, the Southern Appalachian Mountain Stewards, the people in that community, have the confidence to stand up to speak against the coal industry and these people that were actually intimidating them in the town. And by the end of the night, one by one, volunteer by volunteer, activist by activist, and that goes over, we stood up in front of all of those people and told our story, told why we wanted to be there, that this was important to us. And by the end of the night, more people, just about as many people on our side had spoken as theirs. And we really felt like, well, we didn't win it, but we at least came to a draw. And it was really just impressed upon me exactly what's happening in the environmental movement. And that's this, that there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of intimidation. There's a lot of people yelling. There's a lot of people doing anything. But we sit there, one by one, activist by activist, rally by rally, to tell our message on this thing, slowly but surely, to get to the point that because we believe in something, and I really stood with me that night, and I take that with me every day. But I know I'm short on time here, but I didn't come here to be a peacekeeper today. I came to raise hell, hopefully with you guys. And the reason I wanted to raise hell, as Mike said, was the $76 million that Dominion is charging, but they're not bringing us Virginia-made solar and wind. Mike said it very eloquently. I'm going to say it a couple different ways, right? I was on my way down here from Northern Virginia today. I passed a beloved IKEA store in Woodbridge. I don't know if you guys shop there. Nice store. Not there as a gratuitous plug. IKEA early this year put solar panels on the top of IKEA to power the entire building. With those solar panels, IKEA, a furniture store, a really nice furniture store, but a furniture store, has built more Virginia-made solar than Dominion, our largest utility. Let me give you another reason why I'm mad. There are three numbers: 2027, 33, and 5,075. So Dominion has a 15-year plan, not our plan, not the Sierra Club Chesapeake Climate Action Network plan, Dominion's plan that they present to Virginia to be accepted. In that plan, 15-year plan, by the year 2027, Dominion has plans to build 33 megawatts of solar, 0 wind, and in contrast to that, 5,075 megawatts of dirty energy, mainly natural gas. Now, you don't need to be a policy wonk to know that 30 megawatts is much smaller than 5,075 megawatts. And this can't happen because our health of our communities, our families, the jobs that we want to make in a just transition away from coal to clean energy need to happen here, and they need to happen in Virginia. And Mike, I know you've given me, do I have a chance to make another point, or I got to go? All right, I had a lot of other good things to say, but I'm always long-winded. But I really appreciate you guys here. We have to stop this Dominion 77. Oh, actually, I really wanted to make a point because I do think it's compelling. I was taking my family to West Virginia for a vacation, and this stopped me in my tracks, right? You guys know about 3.5 hours from here, I guess, roughly, there is actually a wind farm called the Mountain Storm Wind Farm. And you know what people are doing at that wind farm? They're actually pulling over to the side of the road with their families to take pictures of it. You know what the communities are doing with that wind farm? They're actually advertising it as an amenity, as a tourist attraction, and it stopped me dead in my tracks when I was there. And I don't know whether you can see this, but I'm holding it up. This is West Virginia. This is not a Sierra Club postcard. It's not a CCAM postcard. This is a community of West Virginia that says West Virginia with a wind turbine on this, right? The reason I'm showing you today, because this to me represents the symbol of the change that is happening. This is the symbol of change that's happening across the country for activists like you doing this. And if it can happen in West Virginia, if we could put a wind turbine in the heart of coal country, we certainly damn well could put one off the coast of Virginia, and we could have solar panels all throughout Virginia and stop this Dominion $76 billion ripoff to bring Virginia-made clean energy here. And I'm glad you're here today to do this with me. Let's keep at it, and I appreciate the time. Sorry.
Sierra Club. Okay, so they're getting the $76 billion bonus, but we're not getting the postcards. Again, a ripoff. So here's the next chant. You ready? We're gonna say together 1, 2, 3, 4. What'd they get that bonus for? 5, 6, 7, 8. Wind and solar in our state. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. What'd they get that bonus for? 5, 6, 7, 8. Wind and solar in our state. 1, 2, 3, 4. What'd they get that bonus for? 5, 6, 7, 8. Wind and solar in our state. All right. Our next speaker is Kathy Woodson. She is with Virginia Organizing. Many of you know it as previously Virginia Organizing Project, outstanding organization that stands up for justice in the workplace, stands up for justice in the environment, stands up for justice wherever there's injustice in this state. And Lord knows there's injustice happening in that building behind us, and I want to welcome Kathy Woodson.
Thank you all for being here. And thank all the folks who put this on. Good afternoon. My daily work with Virginia Organizing is working with real people for real change, and that includes creating a safe and clean environment. We hear a lot of talk about building a better future for our children and grandchildren, and part of that work, and a big part of it, is building clean energy, and that should be our top priority. This includes not just everyday people like you and me. We need to hold our lawmakers accountable. We need to hold corporations accountable and make sure we are getting clean, renewable energy. Every day in different communities across the state, and especially I work the Richmond area, people are experiencing respiratory issues that compromise the quality of life, and this includes lots of our children. They cannot enjoy outside. They can't go out on the playground without being heavily medicated or risk some type of reaction from the air quality. Richmond was rated the top asthma capital in the United States a couple of times. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. 2 years. Wow. We should be upset about that. Everyone should be concerned that we have 4 coal-fired power plants within 25 miles of our city. And Dominion's hometown, right behind me, is right here. So when families suffer with asthma and other respiratory issues, they experience a huge financial burden. We've done a lot of work at Virginia Organizing on quality, affordable care. But when people are suffering respiratory problems, especially children, and they don't have health care, they have to come out of pocket, and it comes out of somebody's pocket. But that's another day, another story. African American and Latinos are 3 times more likely to die from asthma, and African American children have a higher emergency room rate and hospitalization rate. So what does this all mean to us? We need, that's you and I, all of us, we need to bring real renewable energy to Virginia so we can breathe better, so we can build healthier communities. And how do we do that? How many people get electricity from Dominion Power? Raise your hands. Do you have a choice to get it anywhere else?
No.
Very good. You got the right answer. We all get a bill, right? Whether you get it through the U.S. Postal Service or you get it online, however you do it, you get it. We need to raise our voices to Dominion Power every day, every month, and let them know what we want. $76 million? No, you don't deserve that. So we have one energy company, and so we as the customer need to hold them accountable. We need to hold our legislators accountable and close the loopholes. So I challenge each of you today, send a note every time you send a payment. Okay, that's something we all can do. We want clean, renewable energy now. send it with your bill. Every time you pay them, send a note. The General Assembly is in session. We should all be down here talking to our legislator and all the folks that make decisions. That's what we can do for them. We need to get our voices heard. If we're concerned about the local economy and jobs and children's future, then let's continue to keep our environment at the top of our priority list, because if we don't have clean air and we don't have clean water, it's no quality of life for any of us. Thank you for inviting us, and keep up the energy.